Hello and welcome to another episode of the Magic Sponge. Rob Beckett, Ian Smith and Jimmy Bullard.
Hello, boys.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It has, hasn't it? And our guest this week is Jeff Winter.
Jeffrey! Welcome, son.
Our first referee on the show.
And probably the last.
I can't believe we got a referee on the show, boys.
It's exciting having a ref.
I can't believe it.
Ecstatic.
I've already seen his skin. He's very thick-skinned. I suppose that to be over the years.
You've got to be, haven't you?
You've got to be thick and thick-skinned. I think I'd probably qualify on both counts. In fact, I could have been a footballer. I'm that thick.
Oh, fucking, he's already started. I'm going to absolutely slaughter
You
him.
say when I was a footballers are thick?
Well, most of them are. I mean, I listened to that show last week with Dean Windass. My God, he is not the brightest individual, is he?
No.
In fairness.
No.
Lovely lad. Lovely
He had quite
lad.
a rude message for you.
Yeah, go on.
Just like, I can't remember it fully, but I feel bad saying it because it just called you like...
I wouldn't. He just called you a fat fucker.
Well, there's no wrong with his eyesight then, is there?
Jeff, you are a Premier League referee and you took charge of the 2004 Cup final.
Yeah, I did indeed.
And you've written an autobiography called Who's the Bastard in the Black?
We've got to earn a living, you know. Referees, when they're finished, they're not as affluent or effluent as footballers, so they've got to eke an existence out. And it's that bad, I'm even working on the after-dinner circuit with the legendary Dean Windass.
Oh, you said that? What's that like, the after-dinner circuit with all the footballers?
It's good fun. It's good fun, actually. I mean, you tend to work with a comedian, but then Dean qualifies on both counts. Unless it's one of the bigger dinners. But, you know, when you're working with the likes of Dean, or different class, quality, great stories, and we rip each other to shreds, and we earn a meagre crust, so everyone's a winner.
That's all right, isn't it? We've got some tweets and stuff in. This is from James Burrell. It says, bin the producer and bring back Peregrine. Our producer Sam's not happy with that. Peregrine wasn't even the producer, was a sound man.
No,
but I think he's a nice enough bloke, but I think people only really like him because of his name.
Yeah, his name. We peppered him, didn't we?
We had a sound man called Peregrine.
There for that one.
Very
Do you know
nice.
what Peregrine is?
There's a few people called Peregrine in Middlesbrough.
Are there?
Junior at school, there was a lot of kids called Giles and Peregrine and double-barreled names.
Really?
No.
Oh, okay. No, just a flat no with that one. Also, as well, Paul Bergen said, Jeff Winter, good luck with Jimmy Bullard, you're going to need it.
He's all right, Jimmy. There was never any problems with him on a pitch.
Now, is he all right?
He was a baby. He was lovely.
Who's the worst person you had to
How long's this on for?
We've got enough time, I reckon, mate.
I don't think so, to go through some of the arseholes that I had to deal with in my time.
Who's the biggest arse of a player?
One of
Jeff really struggled refereeing. Do you get what I mean? Always played up.
Danny Mills.
Oh, really?
I struggled with Danny. I think I sent him off at Arsenal one time, and after that...
He copped it.
He just had no respect for me, and I had no respect for him. And about a year ago, I came down to London to do one of these TV shows, and Sam Allardyce, John Barnes, and they said, there's going to be a footballer on. And the day before, they told me it was Danny. I thought, this is going to be wonderful. And in fairness, when we got in the studio, like is often the case, once you go over the white line, you change into different people, don't you, Jimmy?
Yeah.
No,
and when you meet people, referees don't really meet footballers until after they've retired, like on the dinner circuit.
It's weird, that, isn't it?
It is. Well, I mean, you're not going to go into the bar after the game with them, that sort of thing. It doesn't work that way after a game. It's just a recipe for disaster, especially after the fucking decisions I used to make. But
don't we fucking know it?
When you get to meet people away from the game... Remember Alan Smith, Leeds United, Man United, Newcastle United?
I played with him, okay, done, yeah.
Yeah, he, on the football pitch, was as obnoxious an individual as you wish to meet. He was horrible.
What a lovely...
Off the pitch. You couldn't get a word out of him. Polite. I met him at a social do once. Polite, lovely lad. The minute he went over that white line, it's like
He's
someone
really
flicks.
quiet fella.
He is, yeah.
Unbelievable. I was with him a few months at MK Dons, my small time spent down there. Unbelievable. Exactly what he just said. And then goes over the white line. He's an animal.
Yeah.
But did you ever referee Michael Brown?
Yeah, it was a Hartlepool lad from up Map.
Really?
Yeah.
Nicest fella. Like family life, family man. Crossed the white line. Once, he was at Old Trafford. I couldn't believe this. Sorry to interrupt, Jeff. But Michael Brown, Old Trafford's got a small... The line's there, and it's literally, you fall off, don't you?
Yeah.
You're right by the red grass. It's like hardly... You've got like 3 foot. And he's gone sliding tackle through Giggsy. Both took him into the advertising. It was a fair tackle, to be fair. Took him into the advertising balls on the red grass. As he's got up, he's just stamped on Giggsy's chest, out of all the players. At Old Trafford. I'm like, what are you doing, Brown? He's like, I don't know, I just had to do it. Like, you just stamped on him, smashed him in the chest. And then afterwards, I seen Giggsy. At the tunnel, I said, Brown, he's like in the change room, his head's in his hand. He knows what he's done now, and Giggsy just wanted to kill him.
Oh, really?
But Brown, he just didn't want to come out of the change room. That's the two sides.
Because
he was so soft, and he just knew what he'd done. He said, I just can't help it, Jim. Like, when I'm on the pitch, he just goes over the top. But that's what he's like. Like, some players I've played with, just animals, yeah. I think it's the winning mentality in them.
Yeah.
They switch, you know what I mean? Everything's a must-win. They go to ridiculous lengths to win a game or to put things in their favour, you know? But yeah, he was the worst one I've ever been with, Brownie.
What do you do the rest of the week, though, as a ref? Because you game on a Saturday, do you do any prep? Obviously, you have to keep fit.
Well, in the last 3 years of my career, we went full-time, so we were training just like the players, and it was fantastic, you know. Yeah. In mid-40s, fitter than I'd ever been in my life, and getting paid to be involved with the game we loved. But prior to that, and like the lads who are refereeing Football League and that now, they've got full-time jobs.
Yeah.
So it's training on a morning, lunchtime, night. But to be a full-time, I mean, the only reason I became a referee was because I was crap at playing football.
Is it like a hierarchy of linesmen? Because they're just sort of like... Are they just shit refs?
It's linesmen refs now, don't they?
Yeah, it's a progression. You start off and you come up the ladder, and you're always like running the line at the level below where you hope to get to. So, like, I was on the Football League line for 6 years, and then obviously because there's only a fewer number of refs at the top, they don't get through. But and some of them are like specialists. You know, they're better at running the line than they'd ever be at reffing. But no, the bitchiness though in refereeing. I know it's like
what's it like between the other refs?
It is absolutely murder. Because, you know, Jimmy might have been able to play right side of midfield, left side of midfield. Yeah. He could be on the bench and come on. There's only one bloke going to referee the game.
It's like goalkeepers.
Yeah, and when it came round to the big matches, you think, it's the Manchester Derby coming up. I want that one. He want, and when it come to cup finals and one thing and another, it was a nightmare.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you're all trained together. There's all the banter together, but it's man eat man, dog eat dog.
Knowing what you're like, Jeff, how would you struggle reffing there?
You know, with all looking in the mirror, I definitely struggle.
No, you know what I mean. With all
seriously,
scope on them,
the great thing on the speaking circuit, you speak to loads of people like yourself that careers are over and the game has changed.
Yeah.
You know, the refs now are fitter than they've ever been, but the game is so much faster. And, you know, in our day, yes, players dived, players looked to get one over on the ref, but not like it is now. You know, you can watch incidents on the telly 10 times over, and I'm still not sure. I am watching it on the telly, and you look at it from every slow motion angle and everything else. So, in all honesty, Jimmy, I think we had the good days in terms of reffing. It's hard now, very hard.
Refs, to be honest.
Is there any refs that you didn't like when you was in?
Oh, yes.
You used to have run-ins with them?
Well, can I sing a little song that the fans used to sing? Oh, Graham Pole is a fucking arsehole. And that was a song that the fans used to sing, and you know, in fairness, they were right. How did you get on with him? I didn't.
All right, no, Graham Pole, I got on with him.
Well, he talks the same as you. You southern wankers will all stick together. I'll
tell you what it is. I never got too much involved with refs. I just used to play my own game and concentrate, and even with other players, as I've said on this show before. But yeah, I've had some dodgy refs, but it didn't bother me. Decisions never bothered me that much. I've been with players where it's the be-all and end-all. They will go out to affect a referee.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what the fuck are you getting at?
Well, you see, the thing is, it's like Dino you had on last week. Dino and I had a great relationship on the pitch. He'd run up to me, give us a mouthful, and I'd tell him to fuck off. Yeah. Now, in those days, that was great.
Imagine there, though, with the mics on.
Today, I wouldn't you asked the question, how would I have done today? You know, man management, footballers, the money they're on, the status they've got. Yeah. They don't want a school teacher lecturing them and telling them, you do that again, I'm going to send you off. You know, a bit of banter, a bit of crack, you got a lot more respect. Yeah. But, you know, and things were said that perhaps shouldn't have been said. You can't very well send a player off for bad language when you've just told him to fuck off.
Well, what's the worst thing the player's ever said to you?
Oh, everything.
Or that you've ever said to a player?
Oh, even worse. You know,
C-bomb chucked at you quite a bit.
No, well, not really. Not really. You know,
safe for
Pretty
Graham
ears. The C-bomb would pretty your ears, wouldn't it?
yeah, you know, but you see that on the telly. You see them doing it now. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, as we get older, we get a little bit senile. I'm thinking, did they used to talk to me like that?
Yeah.
But, you know, NC would run up to me and give me a mouthful and I'd say, just fuck off. You know, so you're not having such a good game yourself. If I'd have wanted an earache, I'd have stopped him with the missus. Now fucking get on with your game. And then obviously they pull you when you get a throw in wrong, and the next time someone has a shot at goal, you just run past them and go, that was fucking pants. And that was the sort of, now there are people in authority say, oh, you can't do that, but you got to respect that way. You had a bit of banter. The thing with some referees is they think they're popular. Yeah. Referees, they're like traffic wardens, they're like the ugly sisters in the pantomime. They're there not to be liked. The best you can hope for is to be respected. And I always think that if you treat people like human beings, have a little bit of banter with them. If you've made a mistake, hold your hands up and say, I think I might have got that one wrong. And Jimmy would say, you fucking well did. Yeah. But, you know, it's done, it's history. You haven't done it deliberately. Yeah. And if you've got a sort of a human approach and can talk to people, you know, there's got to be consistency. I understand that. But, you know, card.
That's like Dean Windas's game for Aberdeen, isn't it? That?
Yeah.
There's a match report on
Dino was great to have on the pitch, because if you can control Dino and have a bit of banter with him, everyone else falls. Exactly.
Were you saying about some of your like teammates would go out to try and get in the ref's head? Who was it who used to try?
Just a fake, like Brownie would be one.
Because John Fashioner used to do it.
When I was at West Ham, DeCanny would always affect the
But
ref.
you knew your refs, didn't you?
Yeah.
You would know which refs you could do it to and which ones you couldn't.
Danny Murphy, first thing he done, opened a programme, who's reffing it.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
First thing, who's reffing this? Oh, fuck.
And within clubs...
I didn't even bother me. It wouldn't affect me. It wouldn't affect me 1% of
I'll tell you, some of the managers would know. The clubs would know.
Him and Roy used to go to each other. He was
Roy
catching.
Hodgson.
Him and Roy used to go, they reffed us last time here, mate. It's just a night. Let some people here look, and he was a captain, and he would go out and try and affect a referee, or it'd make an issue of it didn't bother me. Like Danny would grab the striker and go, "Tell you what, this ref week, he didn't give us a few last week. He knows it's in his. He didn't give us a few weeks before. Go over in the box. Go over in the box, and I'll get straight in his ear roll. First 5 minutes, all of a sudden he's under the cosh.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? Little things go over a second
and then
time.
The crowd are all
and all of a sudden, do it 3 times. The ref's like, he's half got it in his mouth, hasn't he? He's like.
I've got to give one of them.
And subconsciously, you know, people always say to me, well, do you get swayed when you're at Old Trafford or Anfield or the Emirates or wherever? Subconsciously, I'd say, no, you don't.
No.
The ref is strong. He gives everything the way he sees it.
But
subconsciously, who knows what happens?
Yeah.
And, you know, that's why...
It must affect you. You've got 75,000 people.
Of course it will.
Or compared to like an half-full like Stoke ground or a Burnley ground.
You imagine, Rob, if there's a penalty you haven't given, there's another one you haven't given, then all of a sudden there's one. You're like
80,000 people. Roy Keane and
every
Giggs
normal
running
person in the world's got to be like, I've got to give that.
Yeah, exactly.
I always think 1 out of 3's got to be right.
If I was a ref and the match was boring, I'd give a penalty just to liven it up. Like some shit.
Jesse
Come on.
do that all the time.
Every time. I was never close enough to the penalty out to see whether it was a penalty or not.
Do you get any groupies?
Loads.
Ref groupies?
Yeah.
I don't know, you know, because there's like women that love footballers. Yeah. Is there like a small little niche group that love refs? I reckon there's a few in it walking around. Get your whistle out. Give her a card.
I've got to be honest. Well, you think about a woman...
Why do you pull your shorts so high up? They've not wearing the pitch like Humpty Dumpty, do they?
So we go back to the first subject.
That's what they like. They like the high shorts.
You think there could just be a woman out there who likes a little bit of domination and wants to be bossed around the bedroom. So I have dished a few cards out every time, like...
Oh, have you?
In the bedroom?
In the bedroom, oh yes, definitely.
What an animal.
What do you mean?
Not doing what they want you to do, you know what I mean?
So do you always have
you make a polite request.
He's got yellow and red cards on him.
They're my business cards, actually.
Oh, are they?
How original.
So how do you choose who gets a yellow and a red? Like
in the bedroom, or we talking on the football pitch?
No, when you're giving out your business cards.
Well, I give them both, because one's got some details and one's got the other.
Oh, okay.
Two business cards.
I'll tell you
so
something.
are there groupies? Oh, so I'll tell you.
Why are you
Well,
obsessed with our
because I mean,
referee?
well, because
I think he's thinking of what benefit on earth is there on becoming a referee. The strangest thing, and you'll have seen these, you go to a football ground 2 hours before kick-off. Every ground in the country at every level, there is always a number of blokes stood there, usually 50s, 40s, 50s, probably still living at home with the mums. And they are not so much referee groupies, but football groupies.
Yeah, they're the anoraks.
They're the anoraks. And I love these people because they're the 92 club. They've been to every ground.
I'll show you the pictures that he brought back from 1960s.
This is the thing that's absolutely amazing. I now do, I follow Middlesbrough in the Championship, hopefully the Premiership before much longer. And I'll go to a ground and somebody somewhere has actually sussed out, we're playing Middlesbrough this week, Jeff Winter follows Middlesbrough around and arrive at the ground with our press boys 2 hours before kick-off, and somebody comes across to you and, like Jimmy says, they open a folder and there was these little cards they brought out, like a
little Jeff Winter of ice shorts running
I'll
around.
tell you something, I've got one. Look, someone give me this. It's a game, match incident that used to be like a card game. Subutio squads.
Oh, wow.
And
is it the winter?
Yeah. Okay, shorts.
It's the thin winter in shorts. Somebody give me that.
Are you here as well?
It's like military.
And they've got photographs of you. I finished refereeing 11 years ago, and they're there at the ground with all this sort of gear.
Unbelievable.
It's amazing.
Now, they're probably not the sort of groupies you were talking about, but they're there as well.
Your signature looks like the symbol that like drug dealers put outside their house.
Well, you've got to earn a living.
Ian, you've got your quiz for Jeff.
Oh, dear.
Here we go. This is to test your refereeing knowledge. These are some unusual
I'll save you messing about with the score and just put 0 down.
Well, we'll see.
Oh, no, we're doing it properly.
Well, yeah, let's just skip the quiz and go home.
All right, don't spit your dummy out. You've wasted 5 minutes of your life preparing these questions. Now you're having a pop at me.
Well, 5 minutes is overdoing it a bit, isn't it? You're overestimating how much I care about refereeing rules. This is a one like Wikipedia article. Here we go. As soon as everyone's so enthusiastic. What would happen if a team scored an own goal direct from a free kick?
You can't score against yourself from a free kick.
Ah, yes, but what would happen? I know you can, and it would be a bit of a dumb move. But if it does happen, it's possible to happen. Right, okay. But what then would you do as referee? You can't just go, this hasn't happened, because it has.
So somebody's took a free kick, passed it back to the keeper, it's gone past the keeper and gone into the net.
Yeah, someone's kicked
so
a direct
you don't
a free
allow
kick.
the goal, you're talking about how does the game restart.
Yeah, what happens?
Oh.
So the goal doesn't
start, no.
Right, okay.
I would say...
Drop ball? Any excuse for a drop ball,
no.
isn't it?
Rob's you're pressuring him. You're pressuring him.
Fucking drop ball, ref. Come on, you fucking up. Play on! It's my ball.
Get in there. Get in the fucking net. Play on.
What you do?
Bunny rush.
Go. You run across to your linesman and then blame him for not watching it. Give a corner kick.
Give a fucking corner kick.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Winner
I tell you something. This.
Hang on.
Hang on.
It goes in the fucking goal. You go corner.
I tell you something.
Who's made that? Well, that's that Zep fella who owns FIFA. He's fucking owns
Zep.
What's his name?
Zep Black. Zep. He's not from Rainbow.
Zep. Hey.
Until I waffled a bit and had a little bit of a think, I didn't know the answer to it
Nailed
either.
it.
But there you go.
You've just been wintered football.
Go on, you got another one like that one? Yeah. Fucking hell, Smith. This is the best quiz you've ever done. Good smudger!
See, that's up your arse.
He's fucking back. That's why we've got him.
That's
why he's here.
Do you know, last week Dino had a go at him and said, how does he earn his money?
Yeah, this is how he earns his money.
He's affected him. Window. What he's done to me as a football player back in the day, Window has affected you. Psychologically
It got in your head and I've whacked your
That's why you've come back. Go on. Get your
4
big
minutes
cock out.
online. Right, here we go. I'm teeming with arrogance now. What is a goalkeeper not allowed to do, fashion-wise, while punching a ball?
Fashion-wise? Not allowed to put a suit on.
Yeah, well, you're saying it like I'm a dick, but this is a rule.
So
You
are a fucking dick.
What can a goalkeeper not do while punching the ball out in a crowd of players? And the clue is it's to do with fashion.
Right.
Ooh, silence on the podcast.
Yeah.
So if he
Well,
punches
this
the
is a
ball out,
fucking juicy
can he
quiz
not
today.
take his gloves off and punch it?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's something. Well, I know. I guess he probably could.
Do you
but
know that one, Jim?
The goalkeeper's
probably
allowed
a
to
lot
take
of
their gloves
things.
I
off.
think I might have known the answer if he hadn't said something to do with fashion. I'm
I
starting
think
to
a
think.
goalkeeper's allowed to take their gloves off.
Well, what are you thinking? What do you think is the answer? Disregard the fashion
So what?
thing.
He
Just
comes up,
express
punches
yourself.
the ball.
Right, there's a crowd of players, goalkeeper, he's punching the ball out. What is he not allowed to?
But what
have
he's
done?
not allowed
Oh,
to
I
do
know.
that's absolutely naff all
I
to
know.
do with fashion. He's not allowed to shout "my ball" or anything like that.
Yeah,
He's
no,
not
it's
allowed to
that.
take his glove off.
No. It's something. It's not to do with gloves, and it's not to do with shouting.
Pull his shirt up.
Fucking
Not allowed to pull the
got
shirt
it.
up in case you've got short sleeves.
Not allowed to pull your sleeves up because that way the referee can tell who has punched the ball if it's a player or a
Well, I
goalkeeper.
was thinking that, but it is bullshit, by the way. I agree
No.
with you, Jimmy. Because
Why is it
wasn't
bullshit?
it Lionel Perez or someone used to wear those short-sleeved shirts?
Yeah, but he painted his arms.
You're such a freak.
You know, your first question was so good, but that was shite.
No, it wasn't.
That's when the
Because
referee...
they wear
That's,
short
fact.
sleeves now.
One more. You got one more.
that's a yellow
We've got a
card,
few
that,
more,
by
I
the
like
way.
that.
Yeah, I've got a
Also,
couple
are
more.
you allowed to take your gloves off as a goalkeeper
Yeah.
during the match?
Yeah, gloves are optional,
But what if
aren't
he
they?
took them off and left them on the pitch?
Jeff's face when you're asking, he's looking at you like a
Actually,
piece
where-
of shit.
Well, because what if I was a
What kind of
goalkeeper,
fucking
right?
question
And
is
maybe imagine if like the ball's gone past me and it's trickling in the net, and I take my gloves off and throw it at the ball, and it stops it from going in.
Yeah.
What happens there?
Unsporting behaviour, yellow card, but that is classed. Remember the old beach ball?
Yeah.
It's classed as an outside interference. So if the ball doesn't go over the line, all you can do,
So if
is
Yellow
drop
card.
ball.
Is there a limit to the size of
He's
your
a
gloves?
ref bowls are
Form gloves.
There's obviously
Yeah,
not a
them
limit to how high your
Kenny
shorts can
Everett
be.
ones, about 6 foot.
Yeah, but is there a limit?
I would have thought there are standard sizes. So if somebody goes out there with 12-foot dangling fingers,
Otherwise you could have like
I'll be a Wolga goalkeeper.
I don't know whether that.
steel
Oh,
sculptures.
hands is it?
So that was wrong. That answer.
Oh, I'm not having that.
Right.
That's dissent from the referee, by the way.
What are you not allowed to do to try and avoid doing a back pass? So you want to
I know.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. This one's easy.
I know. Say you can actually, in normal course of play, you can knee it back to the goalkeeper or hit it with your thigh.
Yeah.
So if you've got the ball in your possession and you can't pass it back to the goalkeeper, you can't flick it up and head it back or chest it
Yeah,
back or
that's
knee
it.
it back.
You can't
Tell
do
you
a fancy
something,
little
what
trick.
a referee I would have been if I
So
was
you
any
can flick
good.
it up and head it back?
No, you're not
you're
allowed
not
to
allowed
like,
to.
flick it up and head it.
You're circumventing the laws of football.
Or like get on all fours and like roll it.
So
with
what would
your head.
happen if you
can't do
did that?
Free kick.
Free kick.
Indirect free kick and a yellow card.
Then they'd let it back to me
Yeah.
and I'd whip it in the stanchion.
You'd get a yellow card.
And because it's my own goal, it goes for a corner.
I used
I
to
can do corners too.
Right, when can referees book players?
When they play out.
Yeah, but it's a big. Yeah, you are looking
When
at me
can
now.
the
When? Yeah.
I know what you mean. I'll tell you something.
It's-
Your
yeah,
questions
your
are
deliveries.
absolutely garbage.
No, they're not garbage. Everyone's
what you
looking puzzled, which is a
Yes.
sign of a good question.
Yeah, the good
If
question.
everyone answers it
It's not a
immediately, it's not a
school
question,
teacher,
is
isn't
it?
it?
The simple answer would be after he's committed an offence. But what I think you're looking for is
What the answer?
the answer. And
take
it is
it in,
from the
don't take
minute
it
he
in.
arrives at the ground
Fuck him up, is
until
it?
the
Right.
time he leaves the ground.
The ground. So we have it as a shit and
Yes,
throws
the
it.
Ground.
So-
oh, hang on.
so-
Witness thinks he's got it, but he's fucked himself here.
Right.
Leaves
Well,
the ground.
I've got to be quite honest with you. I've fucked myself a few times, but I seem to remember a professional footballer who actually got booked, so to speak, for an incident that happened in the car park after a game. And I feel as if he's had more mentions on this fucking show, where I'm supposed to be the guest, than he did when he was on the show last week.
Dean Windows got booked in the car park.
He got booked in the car park after a game, which answers your question, I hope, because after the game, the ref's gone to his car and Dino's gone across and given him an absolute mouthful and commented on how well he thought he'd refereed.
Tell me the referee in the car park has got the book.
No, well, no.
Yeah, I can't.
I think
No one around watching it happening.
He's so good.
I think they called the ref Darren Drysdale. He didn't show him the yellow card in the car park, but he did report him for the comments he passed, and he got done. He got a suspension. So from the minute he arrives at the ground until he leaves after the match.
actually the wrong answer. The
Fuck
answer,
off.
the
I've
answer,
told you the right answer.
No. The answer, it says here, is...
Not dealing with Paul Ince now, Jeff.
Up to 6 weeks after the game, and then it brackets, including even if they've gone on holiday in summer, so like in Barbados if they run into each other.
Now you're talking complete and utter
that's what
bollocks.
it says. That's what it says.
What about 11 years after the finished refereeing?
No, 6 months.
Oh, it's
6
a pity.
months
It was a
only,
few
I'm
I'd go
afraid.
back
6
and
months.
do
So
now.
that was quite a good question. I think that was good, Ian.
Thank you.
I don't
I
think,
think
you should take
it's
Jeff's
a
criticism.
wonderful question, but I just think it's bollocks and he just made it up.
Do you have to deal with mascots? They're normally in the photos with the refs before, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. And the one thing, I don't know whether you remember this, Jimmy, the one thing about mascots, you think about it, that the blokes, or whatever they are underneath, you never get to see them, and they're in this stinking, sweaty, great big hairy thing that sits in a mucky hole. It gets soaked one Saturday, then sits in a cupboard for 2 weeks, and they stink. What you used to do at the kickoff, they'd come up to you, obviously, shake hands with the mascot. There was one particular club, Preston North End.
Yeah.
And they've got, I don't know what he's supposed to be, but he used to come up to you and it absolutely stank. It was like, stomach turning. And you never see them.
Why don't you just wash it?
There could be bank managers.
Yeah, but you've got to get a big old washing machine and get a bee's head in.
There used to be one at, I think, Wimbledon or Crystal Palace or something. There was actually a bank manager during the week, and on a Saturday became the club mascot. But getting back to Preston, there's this Gadgie there, and he...
Gadgie? What's Gadgie?
It's a northern term for a man, Gadgie.
Oh, okay.
Right? And
I'm loving
he
these past few weeks.
absolutely stinks. So... That's it. You never see him again until the next time you're at
But
Preston.
it always stinks every time.
A couple of years later, when I'd finished reffing, and I went on the circuit, and I'm at a dinner in Lancashire area near Preston, and people are coming up at the end, and a bloke comes up to me, suit and tie, and he says to me, "Bet you don't know who I am." I said, "Go on then." He says, "You've met me before on several occasions." And my nose just twitched. And I thought to myself, I recognise this smell. And he turned around to me and says, "Go on then, do you know who I am?" I said, "You wouldn't happen to be the mascot of Preston North End, would you?" And his face went white. He just couldn't believe me. He said, "How on earth did you know that?"
Because you fucking stink.
And I thought, that's him. And if you think I'm a fat bastard, look at him. And I'll tell you something.
Is that in there?
It absolutely fell into place. This is 3 years after I'd stopped refereeing. I just went, and I thought, it's that stench. So obviously I'd been blaming the mascot's
You just got a picture up,
outfit.
look at him, by
It
the
wasn't
way.
the mascot's outfit, it was him. And when you see the
it's a
picture,
funny picture, isn't it?
you can actually assume that he would smell a bit, can't you?
Yeah.
He's like a raven, isn't
I
he?
mean, if he gets
Yeah,
sweaty,
he's like a duck or a raven or...
So
you recognised him from his
I recognised
smell.
him from his smell. So when people say you don't know who the mascot is, I sussed him out. I outed him in front of it, and he was gutted because all these people in the room who didn't even know he was the mascot as well.
Really?
I outed him.
Do you think mascots are like, they can't get
They're
referee
weirdos.
jobs?
They're weirdos.
So it
I think
can't
they
be a
could well
footballer,
be.
Can't be a
Now,
referee.
you see, you've sussed it
mascot.
out now. That's why since I've stopped running round, I've porked it up a bit because my new ambition in life, now that groupies are no longer
Dressed as a
interested in
frog.
me, is to
Down
be
at
dressed
fucking
as.
Halifax or
I want to be. I want to be at Middlesbrough. I want to be Rory the Lion.
Is that they
That's
are?
a
Yeah,
good
I wanna
one.
be
Arsenal
Rory
got
the Lion.
Gunnosaurus. Dinosaur, awful.
Yeah.
Gunnosaurus.
So there
Shit
you are.
mascot.
You've two ways to look at it. Either if you're crap at being a mascot, you can become a referee. If you're crap at being a referee, you can become a mascot.
What about using mics and cameras like on the refs? You know, like they do in rugby. They trialled that once, didn't they? By micing them up so that the TV crews could hear with David Ellery.
David Ellery, QPR Arsenal,
Well,
100 years
an
ago.
amazing bit where Tony
Adams, yeah.
This clip that basically
You
is the reason
fucking cheat.
He went, "You fucking cheat," and then he went, "Look here, Tony, come here. I'm
may
not
be
a cheat.
useless.
Yeah, I may be useless, but I'm not a cheat. Okay?" Because a posh, like boarding school
Which I
teacher,
don't
isn't
honestly think did much for the image of
it? Yeah, you
referees.
fucking cheat. He went, look at Tony.
I mean, people have talked about
really.
that. They said, if the refs were mic'd up, it would actually help player behaviour.
Yeah.
But we've talked about Alan Smith going over the white line. Jimmy, if you've in that moment of dissent where you're having a go at a ref,
you don't think he's got a mic on.
You don't think, he's got a mic on, I'm not going to do it.
I'll tell you what, great viewing now.
Yeah, exactly. But like in rugby, they do it, and if anyone's in the zone of like red mist, it's rugby, isn't it?
Yeah, but rugby's a different game. It's played by different people, and
they'll kiss each other, don't they?
Yeah, they're all nice people, not like footballers. Horrible individuals. Yeah,
fucking
complete
horrible.
Scallies,
money hungry, fucking tossers.
Is anything else? Anything else you want to get off your chest while you're here, Jeff?
It's
probably like your confessional.
Well, the one question I do get asked sometimes, and it's probably just the right sort of level of subject for this show, was
shitting and wanking.
Well, you're right on the first bit.
Okay.
We'll leave we've covered the referee's a wanker, but we'll move on to the shit bit. People ask you that very pertinent question as to, when you're out there in the middle of the game, have you ever wanted to go for a piss? Yeah. Or even worse.
I do, yeah.
Well, the piss is easy. You can do that down the side of your leg at a moment in play.
Have you ever done that?
I don't think I have, in fairness.
Right, okay. Do referees do that?
I don't know.
Because if I saw that on a referee, and you'd be like,
mate, a ref could not get away with pissing himself in the middle of the pitch.
I mean, you see, it depends how you do it. If you pull down your shorts,
really sweaty thigh.
If you pull down your shorts, lob it out, and piss in the centre circle, there's a fair chance you're going to get outed.
Yeah.
But if you're just at a convenient moment when the corner kick's being taken, piss down the side of your leg, then you might get away with that. In fairness,
because Gary Lineker done a shit, didn't he?
I'm talking about the number 2 problem, not the number 1 problem. And some said, have you ever had that? In the middle of a game at Chelsea, bad guts, and you wanted a dump. And I've said, that's a strange question. Was it one of yours, Ian, by the way? That's a strange question. Can't answer that one. But it happened pre-season friendly. Billingham Town versus Darlington.
Big match.
Excuse me. Have you ever refereed in the Northern League? Hell of a big game, that. Billingham Town versus Darlington. And halfway through the first half, you must have had this as a player, Jimmy, where you get a little bit of a rumble. And you think,
I didn't know.
Didn't you? You think it was bad guts.
Always go before.
Well, you always go before, but this day was bad guts. And we're about 20-25 minutes into the first half, and you get that rumble. And you look at your watch and you go, fucking hell, I'm not going to last 25 minutes. But sometimes, like you go run through the pain barrier.
Yeah, but
you can also run through the crap barrier. Yeah. And then the intensity. I know what a woman must feel like with childbirth now, when, it comes round a little bit quicker, and heavy breathing doesn't stop it. And when it look at me watch, fucking hell, 35 minutes. I know it's only a friendly. I can't blow up and go off this early. I can't. So there's a stoppage in play. The trainer's come on to deal with a player. I've ran across to the line. Young lad running the line for us, get experience. Shot him the whistle, took his flag. I said, go on, game's a doddle. Go on, you do the last 10 minutes. Give me a chance to see if you can cope at this level. Oh, thanks, Jeff. He runs off into the middle. I don't go on the line, straight down the tunnel, just to say, get into the bogs, in time, in the referee's office, referee's changing room. Compose myself, back out, onto the line, continue running the line for a few minutes. Half time, coming off, the lad who's going in the middle says, oh, thanks for that, Jeff. I really appreciated that. One of the club officials said to me, why did you go off, Jeff? You're the referee. And I said, to be quite honest, my lace had snapped. And I said, I wasn't going to fanny about.
Is that a northern term for having shit?
Your lace had snapped.
Oh, okay.
It's what is
I didn't know if it was a northern term.
It's what is known as a northern term for a lie. And I've said, no, my lace snapped, and I wasn't going to fanny about holding the game off. So I've gone off, changed laces, and we're having this conversation as we going down the tunnel, turned into the little avenue there, and into the dressing room. As we opened the dressing room door, the wall came out, that wall of sound and smell. And the fourth official turned round and said, I didn't know snapped laces smelt of shite. So that was, fortunately, that embarrassing situation happened in a pre-season friendly at Billingham Town, as opposed to
FA Cup final.
FA Cup final in front of 80,000 and so many billion views.
Amazing.
So that was.
The other thing is, do you watch Game of Thrones?
I don't know.
Because there's a saying in it called "Winter is coming." I reckon when you do your after dinner speeches, you should have like "Winter is coming" and all that and all the music, and then you walk on your stage and do.
In fairness, it's a long time since winter was coming, so. I know the funniest one I've got recently. There's somebody turned up at a game, one of the press guys, and there's this. They took the photocopy and brought it along, and it was this like Indian porn star actor, and he was a fucking dead ringer for me. And I thought, they've sussed me. Indian porn star actor. I don't know whether they'd got it, obviously, off one of those dubious channels. There he was, the little the little goatee that has long gone since it started having grey and ginger bits in it.
Yeah, you're going to go anymore. I was disappointed.
No, I know, because once it goes grey and ginger,
it's like Hulk
loses
Hogan.
its feel.
Dean wants to go out the pub.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, mate. Thanks for being a good sport.
Cheers, Jeff.
Right, we'll be back next week. We haven't got a guest sorted yet, have we?
Kev Gallen.
Kev Gallen, if he's about. No, we're no guest yet. It's going to be a surprise. It's only because we haven't booked him yet.
Mark Crossley down, he's a good lad.
Yeah, we might try and get Mark Crossley. Or let us know any requests of people you want us to get on.
Good, yeah.
And then if they're cheap enough, we'll get them on.
Here, I thought we were here because of our quality.
Also, as well, we should say, please subscribe and rate it and do comments, because that helps us get up the leaderboard. And tweet about it.
Tweet it. Just do everything you can to help us, really.
Thanks, guys.
Even phone like Jeff just did.
Yeah, send a text message.
Send a text to remind him. Right, see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
The Magic Sponge is a Pixiu production for Dave and is produced by Sam Pearson.